All right. Hello again, everyone. Thank you for inviting me again. And today we'll be talking about protecting your heart health. Well, pretty much heart disease we'll be talking about. And that's a problem many persons have in our society these days. And so I thought it was really good to, have us talk about that today. So this is our heart, and our heart is a strong muscle and it pumps blood from the veins into the arteries throughout the body. It's about the size of your clenched fist. So it's not very big, but very powerful, of course. And it's positioned in the chest behind the sternum and above the diaphragm. Right there in the middle of the chest is our heart. So coronary heart disease um, is caused by atherosclerosis, and that is just a buildup of plaque or fatty deposits in the walls of the coronary arteries over several years. So it doesn't happen overnight, it happens over several years. And there we have like a picture of the artery, and those yellow areas are actually plaque, and the red areas is actually the blood or the red blood cells, and is having a difficult time going through because of the blockage, and that's atherosclerosis. It gives less space for normal blood flow to deliver oxygen to the heart, and the heart needs oxygen in order to do its work. And reduced blood flow can lead to chest pains or angina and eventually heart attack. Now, when the heart, and so that's what happens when you have atherosclerosis. Um, Here we have like an image of the first one. These are the arteries, right? And the first one is how it should be. It's nice and clear. The red blood cells are flowing through to their various parts of the body where they're supposed to be going. In the second image, of course, we have some plaque forming right here in that yellow area. And so the arteries are now narrowed. And here we have blood and red blood cells flowing through, not so easily as it was up here, but they're getting by slowly. And that's the beginnings of heart disease. And then finally, it's totally blocked because nothing was done to correct, that from happening. And it's totally blocked. I'm sorry. I need to go back. And here we have a blood clot forming, and that's how you end up having a heart attack because of course, as you see on this side, there's no blood passing through, no oxygen going to the heart. And so you have a heart attack in this instant. No, about 375,476 people died from coronary heart disease in 2021. That's a lot of people. And about 1 in 20 adults aged 20 and up actually have heart disease. 1 in 5 heart attacks are silent, so you don't even know that it's going to happen until it happens. And someone has a heart attack every 40 seconds. About 805,000 people have a heart attack each year in the USA alone. So, as you see, heart disease and heart attacks is really a chronic problem in the society, in the world, and in the USA. Now, there are some early symptoms of heart disease, and I've identified 5 early symptoms of heart disease. Firstly, there's chest pain. And the chest pain is the most common symptom of poor blood flow to the heart. And it's called angina. That's the name of that chest pain. And it can occur when the heart is not getting enough blood or oxygen. And the amount of the type of pain or the level of the pain varies from person to person. So it's not the same for everyone. And then there's also shortness of breath. You may notice shortness of breath during activity. Um, You may notice shortness of breath during activity, while you're resting, while you're lying flat on your back. It may even wake you up when you're from sleep. And when the heart can't pump blood as it should, and the blood backs up in the veins that go from the lungs to the heart and causes shortness of breath. Right? All right. And then we have swollen ankles, legs or feet. And this is called edema as well, swelling in your lower legs. That's another sign that your heart doesn't work as well. And so the blood flow is slow and it backs up in the veins, causing fluid to build up in your leg tissues. And then there's fast or uneven heartbeats. So your heart is not able to pump blood as well, so it may beat faster to try to keep up. And then fatigue or tiredness, you feel much more tired than normal. And this is a very common feature for women, common symptom for women, um, that during a heart attack. Now, of course, the main thing, the heart attack, the symptoms of heart attack can be similar, but more intense, chest pain or discomfort. Um, it involves discomfort in the center of the chest that lasts more than a few minutes, or it may go away and then return. It can feel like uncomfortable pressure, squeezing, or fullness or pain. There can also be discomfort in other areas of the body, like the back, neck, jaw, or even stomach pain. Some persons have heart attacks, they think it's maybe indigestion. That's how it can be sometimes. And of course, there's shortness of breath. There can be lightheadedness, cold sweat, nausea, or vomiting, and discomfort or pain in the arm or shoulder. So we're going to look now at some risk factors for heart disease. Now, the risk factors can be grouped into different three different areas. There's behavioral risk factors, biomedical risk factors, and uncontrollable risk factors. So behavioral risk factors include things like unhealthy diets, lack of physical activity, smoking, and alcohol consumption. So these are unhealthy behaviors that are risk factors for heart disease and heart attack. So in an unhealthy diet, foods that are high in saturated and trans fat and cholesterol raises LDL cholesterol. LDL cholesterol is a bad cholesterol. We don't want that, too much of that in our system. So the LDL cholesterol increases when eating foods high in saturated fats, and it increases your risk. Another thing is salt consumption, because it increases blood pressure. So once your blood pressure is increased, it increases your risk for heart disease and heart attack. So what happens is when there's excess salt in your system, the heart has to pump more blood because, see, somehow there's more blood volume has increased, so the heart now has to pump more blood in a given time, therefore boosting and increasing your blood pressure. And then also over time, the salt itself narrows the blood vessels. So the blood vessels themselves, the arteries are affected directly by the salt by being narrow. So you already have plaque forming, and then the blood vessel is now also narrowed. And so that's really like two things happening at the same time. Lack of physical activity, not moving, not doing exercise, not moving around, it increases your risk from dying prematurely from heart disease as well. Smoking. Now, the chemicals in the cigarette or the cigar, the chemicals that you inhale when you smoke can cause damage to your heart and blood vessels, making you more likely to develop plaque buildup or atherosclerosis, because that also affects the blood vessels and makes them, hard to expand, or they have to move they're elastic, so they move, they dilate, or they shrink to accommodate blood volume. And so the chemicals in the cigarettes, tobacco and such, prevent that from happening, thus increasing your risk for heart disease. As alcohol consumption, the American Heart Association explains that drinking excess alcohol raises triglyceride levels in the blood. And so triglycerides, which is fats, in the blood combined with everything else, leads to fatty buildups in the artery walls and increases your risk of heart attack as well. Now we look at the biomedical risk factors. So biomedical risk factors are illnesses that are going on within the body that are causing or contributing to heart disease. So first, there's high blood pressure or hypertension. And having hypertension means that the excess strain and the resulting damage from high blood pressure causes the arteries serve the heart to slowly become narrowed from plaque buildup. And over time, for diabetes, that's excess sugar in the body. And I had done a presentation on diabetes the last time. Over time, the high blood sugar in your body can damage blood vessels and the nerves that control the heart. So causing people with diabetes to be more likely to have even other conditions that raise the risk for heart disease. And being overweight also increases that risk because it causes the circulation of the blood. It causes, there's more blood has to be circulated, and it may cause fluid retention eventually. Because of the volume overload, it puts pressure on the heart in pumping all this blood, like overworking. And also the loose tissue in the body, our body is made of, tissues. Because of the excess fats, it can lose this elasticity. And then, of course, the arteries don't work the way they're supposed to, leading to atherosclerosis as well. And of course, high cholesterol, those fatty deposits I showed you in those images, those yellow deposits, that's actually cholesterol forming plaque that builds up. So having high cholesterol does increase your risk of having heart disease. And then we have uncontrollable risk factors like age. So, as we grow older, our systems don't necessarily work the way they're supposed to or the way they once used to work. And we find that, again, our arteries start to not function the way they should. And maybe as you get older, maybe there were years of making poor decisions in lifestyle. So it catches up, at an older age. So you have more years worth of plaque building up in the arteries, and the arteries become stiff, not necessarily because of anything more than just that you're getting older and they just don't work as they should. And then there can also be a slower metabolism, making it hard to maintain a healthy weight. So as we get older, we tend to put on some weight because our body isn't using up the energy as fast as it used to when we were young. And so it causes us to gain weight. And of course, as I saw before, gaining weight, being overweight or obese, increases our risk as well. And there's also menopause. Then this directly affects women because with menopause, with the lack of estrogen, it becomes harder to control the estrogen helps to regulate our blood cholesterol level. I mean, when it's gone, when there's no longer any estrogen being produced, then it affects the way our heart works and the way our cholesterol is removed from the body. And then there's family health history. So it's oftentimes heart disease and the risks of heart disease are in families. So you might have your mother, your father, your grandparents. These people may have had it, and then you eventually get it too. But of course, that doesn't have to, your past or your past doesn't have to write your future. So although your family members have it, it doesn't mean that you have to get it. You can put things in place to reduce your risk of getting heart disease as well, like they have. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. And then also race and ethnicity. So African Americans or Blacks actually have the highest rate of heart disease in the USA um, for various reasons. But, apparently, being Black also causes us to have more of the other risks like hypertension and being obese. All those things are increased just with being African American or Black. So that also is another risk for heart disease. And pregnancy history, again, for the woman, oftentimes, a lot of times we develop things like preeclampsia or high blood pressure during pregnancy, or we develop gestational diabetes during pregnancy. So having had that in pregnancy, some women, it never goes away. But most women, it does go away, but it increases their risk of getting diabetes or hypertension later on as they get older, as a direct result of them having it when they were pregnant many years ago. So in saying that, women tend to have a high risk of heart disease just because we're women. We have these extra like menopausal effects and pregnancy history effects that affect our risk factors. So how do we prevent heart disease? Let's look at the heart disease prevention now. So firstly, we should eat a heart-healthy diet. So foods to eat are definitely vegetables and fruits and nuts and whole grains, lean meats and fish. So, our vegetables have a lot of antioxidants that help with our heart health, in addition to the fiber that's needed. That's for vegetables and fruits. All these things have vegetables, fruits, nuts, and whole grains. They all have substances that help. And the lean meats would include the lean part of the meat, like the breast, as opposed to the chicken legs or the chicken wings. The chicken wings are the fattiest part of the chicken. The breast is the least fatty part. Also, the way we prepare the meats, baking or roasting is definitely healthier than frying, because in frying you're adding even more fats to the meat. And eating fish maybe twice a week is also good. It has a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, which help with lowering cholesterol as well. And foods to avoid are saturated fats. So saturated fats are found in animal foods like milk. So for example, if you're drinking milk, try to avoid the whole milk. Try to keep it to maybe 1% as best as possible, or low fat or skim milk, to reduce all those fats. Trans fats is another one. Now, trans fats are found in vegetable-based fats. So what happens is, at room temperature, just sitting out on the kitchen counter, oils are liquid at room temperature, fats are solid at room temperature. So it's like butter, butter is a solid at room temperature, but oils are liquid at room temperature, vegetable oil. Now, in margarine might say 100% vegetable fat. And from what we know, vegetable fat is supposed to be unsaturated. However, vegetable oils are actually liquid. In order to get it to that state of being that solid block of margarine, they had to do some chemical processing to get it hard at room temperature. In doing that, it created trans fats, which might not be labeled on our food ingredients, but anywhere there's margarine, there's usually trans fats. So they may or may not label it, but just think of it, anywhere there's margarine listed. So if you're cooking with margarine, if you use margarine, you melt it and you fry, you stir fry your onions or whatever you stir frying, or your egg or whatever, then you're introducing trans fats. It's best to use a little bit of olive oil, or a little bit of vegetable oil if you must, but try to avoid things like cakes. Cake has a lot, normally we cream that margarine with the sugar. And you might say, okay, I'm using margarine. I'm not using butter because butter is saturated fat, but the margarine is also trans fat, which acts like saturated fats. We should avoid red meat, like beef, pork, veal, and lamb, because red meats definitely have more fats, higher saturated fats than chicken or fish does. Processed meats such as hot dogs, salami, pepperoni, bologna, these things are high in salt and fat too. So they're not healthy for our hearts. And try to avoid refined carbohydrates such as white breads, crackers, and salty snack foods, salty snack foods and all those baked goods like Danishes and all the different things that are sold there as baked goods. Try to have the whole wheat bread, whole wheat crackers. Look for the snacks that are salt free, and try to eat a fruit instead of reaching for a donut or a Danish or a cinnamon bun. Reach for a fruit, an apple or some grapes. It would be a much better choice for your heart. And sweetened beverages such as soda, because of course they have a lot of sugar, and we know the sugar leads to diabetes, and that is a risk factor too for heart disease. So try to avoid sweetened beverages. Instead, have water. I always say have a fruit and then drink some water. You mean that's a much better choice. Of course, you have to get used to that choice. It doesn't come overnight because we're used to eating certain things. Food is like a part of our culture, it's a part of our family heritage. We have our eating habits that we inherit through the years. We have our great grandmother's recipes that we love, the family recipes, but sometimes they're not healthy. And so we have to retrain our minds. First retrain our minds to retrain our stomachs to accept a new way of eating. And alcohol, of course, is something to avoid. Alcohol, as I said in the previous slide, it does contribute to heart disease. And sometimes it has extra sugar in it as well. And then we should increase our physical activity. A lot of times we drive everywhere, we sit a lot. We drive from our homes to the store. We just drive around a lot. We drive more than we walk at times, especially if you live in the suburbs. And it's recommended to have 150 minutes of exercise per week, which is about 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week. And it doesn't have to be anything grand, maybe just brisk walking. You go to the park, you walk around the block for 30 minutes each day, 5 days a week. That's 150 minutes for the week. And try to do a little muscle strengthening at least 2 days a week. In addition to that, so like you could get like a dumbbell and just do some little lightweight lifting for the arms, legs. That's really good for our bodies. So also we should do our health screenings. In doing our health screenings, we know our numbers. We know, when I say our numbers, I'm talking about our cholesterol levels, our blood pressure levels, or sugar levels in our body, because these directly affects our heart. So for example, we have here our cholesterol level at under 200. Under 200 is considered to be normal, is heart healthy. Then our LDL cholesterol, which is our bad cholesterol, should be under 100. And our HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol, should be 60 and higher. What that HDL cholesterol does is it moves the bad cholesterol to the liver and it gets extracted from the body. So we need HDL, we need the good cholesterol to do that. and the body naturally makes that. And of course, exercising increases the body's ability to create HDL or good cholesterol. And it says you go up higher, you become at risk, where it becomes cholesterol 200 to 239. You're at risk now, that's heart disease, level. And the LDL cholesterol is 100 to 159. That's also at risk. Or HDL, 40 to 59 for males, 50 to 59 for females. So the numbers are different for male and female, but we're trying to keep this above 60. So below 60 is at risk. And of course, we have our danger levels up here, 240 and higher. That's really bad. So we need to know, have our regular checkups at the doctor or annual checkups, because the only way having high cholesterol has no symptom. There's no symptom for high cholesterol. Only way you know your cholesterol values is by going to the doctor and having that blood work done. There's no other way. So if you don't have health insurance, look out for those pop-up clinics, like maybe a health fair where they're doing a health screening. Sometimes they do it at the grocery store or, little place, the health department. Just to know your risk is one step to being healthy. Then you will know if you need to do something to stop that. Also, we need to know our blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure, if you suffer from hypertension, it'd be a good idea to keep a blood pressure monitor at home, and just to monitor your blood pressure maybe weekly or a couple of days of the week, just to know what's going on with your body. And of course, we need to know our diabetes, our sugar levels. Being normal is less than 5.6. Pre-diabetic, you're 5.7 to 6.4. Being diabetic, you're 6.5 and above. So we need to know all these things. So when we do our physicals, we need to get that printout from the doctor and have it with us and know what is on there. And of course, other heart disease prevention tips are to, as I had told you earlier, to know the symptoms of a heart disease or a heart attack. Know, if something isn't right, your chest hurts, you're feeling tired, those you need to know, have an idea, so that when those things happen, you can always, go to the doctor, go to the emergency room and say, hey, something is happening. I don't like the way I feel. Can you give me a checkup? Aim for a healthy weight. A healthy weight is different for everyone because everyone has a different height to weight ratio because of their height, their bone structure. But, again, talk to your doctor and they will help you to discover what your healthy weight should be. And of course, don't smoke. So in concluding, I'd like to say that heart disease can be controlled and death is preventable if you just strive daily to maintain your heart health by, following some of those diet principles and exercise principles that has been outlined. And of course, work with your doctor. If you're on certain meds, keep taking your meds. Do not stop taking your meds because, for whatever reason, make sure that you're working alongside with your doctor. And also eating a healthy diet and doing exercise doesn't mean that you're stopping your meds. It means you continue. If when the doctor does their blood work, they say, oh, you know what, we can reduce your cholesterol medicine, we can reduce your diabetes medicine, we can reduce your hypertension medicine, then that's all well. But never stop them of your own feelings, because you don't necessarily know what's going on without that blood work and without that doctor checking, doing their necessary tests. So at this time, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take questions at this time.
Yeah, thank you, Stacy. That was so informative. I didn't know what the blood pressure, like the 120/80, like what that kind of meant. So that I know that helped me know when someone says the blood pressure. Now I know what it means. So thank you so much for that.
Yes.
So again, we'll be going based on the hands, you guys. So again, if you have a question for Stacy, please make sure you raise your hand and ask a question. Again, we sometimes it's a while until we have a guest again, or just, if you have a question, just this is the time to ask it. So first up is Brenda. Hey, Brenda, how's it
Hey,
going?
hey, Alex, it's going good, going great. Miss Stacy, my question is now the chart that you showed with a plaque buildup. Now you said it takes years for that to occur. So if we follow a healthy diet and try to do that, so it's going to take years before that plaque is removed or goes away.
Well, that in the beginning part, yeah. Anyway, that plaque takes years to build up. But honestly, I don't believe just eating a diet alone will remove all of that plaque. That's probably you may need a doctor's intervention to help with
Okay.
that, because
Okay.
that's really a lot of buildup. But I would say, taking the medicine, but
Right.
also adding your diet, exercise will even make the medicine work better, I will give even
Okay.
better results. And even after, you should still continue, never stop, because your blood cholesterol was really high and you had all that plaque, and the doctor said, oh my gosh, you need these medicines. And
Right.
because you go back a few months, it probably takes months for it the doctor might test you every 3 months or so to see what's happening. It might take months to get it to normal. When it gets to normal, don't just stop eating the fruits and vegetables and
Right. Continue.
start the lifestyle again. You have to continue, because then it will come back.
Okay. And one other question. You showed the symptoms of your uh, heart disease. Um, do you have to have all of those symptoms that you showed? You showed fatigue,
Oh,
swollen ankles and feet. There were some other areas that you showed. Let's see.
okay. Those?
Yeah, swollen that right,
Okay.
heartbeat, palpitation. Now, suppose you only have one of those areas, you're still at risk,
I mean,
or
it's it's, a, it's just a symptom, So these things are not normal. It's not normal to experience any of these things in your body. So,
okay,
if you realize that you have, I would say, if you're realizing any one of them, any one of them can
mm-hmm.
signify that something is going on. No, it doesn't have
Okay,
to be your heart. It could be something else going on. But at the same
right,
time, it's
Mm.
best to go and get it checked out, even if you have one of those symptoms, because you just don't know what it is. It's not
right,
normal to to feel any of that or to be
okay,
experiencing any of that. Yes, yes.
okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Brenda, for your
Mm-hmm.
question. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, next up is Geraldine. Go ahead and unmute Geraldine. How's it going? You got to hit unmute in the middle, Geraldine.
Mute, yeah, that's right. I forgot to unmute in the middle. Okay, yeah, thank you, Stacy, for coming on today. I want to ask you about coffee drinking. What do you think about drinking coffee as it relates to heart disease and living longer?
Well, what do I think? Well, caffeine is found in coffee. And caffeine is said to caffeine is a drug, it's a type of drug, and over time it affects the way how your blood vessels work. It constricts them, just like salt does, or some of those other chemicals. So, um, knowing that caffeine affects the blood vessels, and the blood vessels are what moves to keep that blood flowing to and from the heart. I would say that the caffeine in the coffee, or in any other drink, is definitely not good for the heart.
Oh, not even 1 cup?
Well, I mean, if I well, I guess you can drink one cup if you want, but coffee is addictive as well. So, and I don't know many people who just drink one cup. Um,
I
but
just drink one cup. I only drink one cup.
okay, well, I mean, if one cup works for you, it works for you. But I can just tell you what I know about the coffee, what it does.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable with that, then that's okay with you.
But it's not a good idea because it restricts the blood flow.
Right, it does. The caffeine, it does restrict the blood flow. So, I would drink something else.
Oh.
But or you could try decaffeinated coffee.
Decaf is better than just drinking all that caffeine.
Yes.
Even one cup of coffee. Just drink one cup of decaf.
Yes, because even though it's decaf, it still has some caffeine there. I don't think it's fully gone. There's some in there still. A little bit is still there.
A little bit is still
Oh,
there.
yes.
I think what
Oh.
Stacy's trying to say, Geraldine, is don't drink coffee every single day. Like on the weekends, I don't drink coffee. And even during the weekdays, it's maybe like once or twice a week. So with anything like, candy and soda, it doesn't ever hurt to just do it once in a while, right?
Once in a while.
Once
Yeah,
in a
it's like
while.
moderation. It's
Everything.
like if
Moderation.
it's like eating a slice of birthday cake. Come on, it's your birthday, one slice is good to celebrate. Just one slice.
Right. I was just trying to get Stacy to say it was okay. But
I can only tell you what caffeine does.
I know. I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Geraldine. Appreciate it. Next up is Anne. Hey, Anne. Owen.
Stacy, I want to think that was a great presentation. Great. And
okay,
thank God I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't have to worry about that. I do drink tea, and I don't drink that every day. But I was really, I was concerned about, I have edema, and they gave me fluid pills. And the fluid pills made me sick because they made me dehydrated. And I was as fast as I was putting it out, I was trying to put it in. So I felt like I was defeating the purpose. So I've been elevating and trying to do other things not to take that fluid pill. So is there exercise or something else that I could do? And it's only in one place. It's on my left leg, and that's from when I had it operated on. And it, so I'm just trying to figure out, is there something that I can do?
Okay, well, I mean, I don't
that?
know why you have it. Well, I'm not a doctor for one, and then I don't know why you have that leg swelling. So that might be a conversation you may have to take up with your doctor to say, you're getting dehydrated from the pill, and maybe you need a lower dose, maybe you need a different one. Maybe there's something else that needs to be addressed. So
She took me off.
Oh, she took you off?
Then she told me, I need to take a diuretic. Well, if you're telling me one thing and then you're doing something else, kind of confuses a person. But I thank you because I learned a lot of stuff today. I really appreciate going over the early symptoms of heart disease. And I'm not going to take up any more of your time because there are other people to ask you questions. But great job. And thank you for coming. And I hope you come again.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Anne. Appreciate it. Next up is Miss Doris. Go ahead and unmute Miss Doris. So again, make sure you hit unmute in the middle, please. It looks like Miss Doris is not in the Zoom anymore. She comes back in, we'll be sure to answer her question. Next up is Miss Duckett. Miss Duckett, can you unmute yourself for us, please? And Miss Duckett, do you mind unmuting yourselves for us, please? There you go.
Okay. Good afternoon. I enjoyed the presentation. I'd like to know, can you tell me a little bit more of foods that I could eat to lower the bad cholesterol?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll wait. This Doris. Every time I hit them dots up there, it knocks me out.
Yes, Ms. Doris. We'll get to you right after Ms. Duckett, okay?
Yeah. Okay, I hope I don't get cut off again, because every time I hit them dots, I get kicked out of the Zoom.
Yeah, just make sure you hit unmute when I ask you to unmute, okay?
I know, but I'm telling you, them 3 dots up there, when I hit that, it's kicked me out of the meeting.
Yeah, so you don't need to hit those 3 dots to unmute. So we got you, okay, Ms. Doris?
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that, Ms. Duckett. Go ahead, Ms. Duckett.
I was speaking in reference to the bad cholesterol, that's the lower cholesterol. Can you give me an idea of some foods that I can eat to help with the lower the bad cholesterol? That's the low one.
Okay, to lower the bad. Yes, definitely. So, of course, vegetables are really good, especially vegetables that are cruciferous, like cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage family. All those are really good in lowering cholesterol because they help with the arteries. They help with them to be able to expand and contract, building back the elasticity for them. And
right.
Oats are good too. Oatmeal, but make sure you use the maybe a 1% or low fat milk if you're putting milk in it, and or a plant-based milk, so that you don't add cholesterol from the dairy milk, the whole milk. But yeah, oatmeal is good as well.
Okay, the nuts. I know we can use nuts to help us with our high cholesterol. Does that also help with to lower your your bad cholesterol as well?
So the thing, nuts are good too. They're a healthy form they give lots of protein, but they also are high in fats. Nuts are very high in fats. Good fat, but at the same time, you don't want to eat too many of them. Maybe a handful is good.
Like walnuts. Can I eat walnuts?
Yes, you can, but too many of them. So, don't sit and eat a whole container of walnuts. Because then if you read your labels, you will see the fat content. Though it's unsaturated fat, you don't want to introduce all that oils in your system, because then it will make you gain weight as well. And then that's another problem that affects your heart function and increases your risk for heart disease. So maybe a little handful of
handful
for a snack.
You're saying only a handful?
Yes.
Now, should that be? Can I have it once a day, or just once or twice a week, or what do you suggest?
Oh well, maybe just in moderation, maybe once a day, but nothing elaborate.
All right.
Not the whole can. And make sure that it's the unsalted type of nuts. Because it's very easy to find salted nuts, but sometimes you have to really dig for the unsalted ones. So look for the unsalted type. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your presentation. It has helped tremendously.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Duckett. We appreciate that. Yeah. Now, so again, we're going back to Ms. Doris. So Ms. Doris, I need you to hit unmute in the middle, please.
Okay.
There you go.
How you doing, Miss Stacy?
Hello.
I wanted to say I had a stress test, and then I had an echogram. So they've been telling me, like, I don't know what I switched up on, but they were telling me like 10 years that my cholesterol was high. So instead of me taking medicine, I changed my diet. And then when I went back, the doctor said, "Oh, them pills work real good," but I never took them.
That's really good. That's really good. That's a
So
good
I
story to
changed,
share.
yeah, I changed my diet, and then I was to normal. So now, this year I had my heart exam and the echogram and everything. So he said I had a little bit of plaque up there, so he put me on a low dose of, of the pills. But I'm gonna change my diet again so I can get off them pills. And I appreciate everything that you taught us today, because you done gave me a lot of good information. And I want
Okay,
to thank you
great.
for that.
All
So
right.
that's the only thing I wanted to say, because if you change your diet and exercise, sometimes you can improve that without the medicine, because I'm a witness to that.
But then you also have to maintain it. So once you stop, it's gonna come right back.
Yeah, I started eating them potato chips and everything else I ain't supposed to have. But thank
Definitely.
you for your lecture today, and I appreciate you.
All right then. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Gudger. Appreciate that. Have a great day.
Okay.
Yeah, next up. And then again, Stacy, just let me know when you need to head out of here, okay? So
Okay.
yeah,
I
so
don't know
yeah.
what time. Sorry, what time do you normally finish?
Each session's a little different. So sometimes it's like 2:30, sometimes it's 2:45, sometimes it's in between. So just whatever you'd like, but the latest 2:45, but usually it's in between around that time, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Or if we don't have any more questions, then that'll be fine too. So far I have two more hands up. First is Miss Thelma. Hey, Thelma, go ahead and hit unmute, please. Yep, in the middle.
Up at the red. No, I want to add to the conversation. I had a problem I found out in 2018 is my right lung was damaged because the artery lead to my right lung had a little teeny bit of cigarette smoke. I had smoked it for about good 20 some years, but my heart doctor and the lung doctor beat me down that the smoke that was in there was not my smoke. They said that it came from secondhand smoke when I stopped the smoking. So I'm doing fine with it. They put me on two pumps. I've been on that since 2018. I'm trying to wean myself. One of them I wean myself down to a milder doses because I've been started eating, healthy right, and I still try to. And my right leg, because that artery has the little bit of smoke in it, it swells every now and then when I on it too much. So like he told me, when it starts swelling, that's when I need my support stockings or the support, socks. So I bought some stockings and socks, like I was telling some of the seniors the other day, and they help. They help. But in order for me to get so now they diagnosed it as a mild case of COPD. But what he did that shocked me is that the doctor stuck like a plastic straw up from my groin, I think up into my vessels, and shot out as much smoke as they could with that blue dye. And that's what put me on the two pumps. Other than that, I've been walking around with a big old oxygen machine. Ooh. So, and that's what they had. And yes, I do eat healthy. I drink my coffee. I do my coffee with pure chocolate. That's my sugar, the bitter pure chocolate. That's my sugar with a little bit of cream. And I do 1 cup. I may do a cup and a half. I do my coffee, and I need that for these bad nerves I had. Look, that's all I had to say. Okay, thank you for your presentation.
Thelma.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Next up is Miss Jennifer. Go ahead and hit unmute in the middle, Jennifer.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm like a newcomer, but I sit here and I listen to everything because it's so interesting to me. You know,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
learning quite a bit. And I wanted to know about the drinking of the milk and the oatmeal situation. My doctor put me on, well, I should say my dietitian put me on the oatmeal milk. Is that different from eating oatmeal or what?
Oh, that's just milk made from oats. So she probably didn't want you to have any dairy milk, for whatever reason. And so maybe she thought the oat milk was best for you. Um, you know, so you want to know what's different between that and oats?
Yeah, I know if it's different from eating oats, you know.
Oh, well, honestly, I'm not sure. It's made from oats. I know. Um, but I mean, I don't know if I'm not sure if it's the same as eating the oats. I mean, I'm sure one is the milk, and I guess it's like drinking soy milk or eating soybeans. I guess you could have them together if you'd like.
No, okay. That's because I was wondering if doing both is eating, is doing too much.
Well, you could ask her. You could ask her because she probably knows why, she put you on that, and she probably knows other things about your health that's going on. So,
Yeah,
you could ask
yeah,
her.
really. Yeah, really, because the vitamin D used to give me indigestion real bad,
Mm.
Mhm. And this is actually working for me. I don't get indigestion like I used to. And I was on pills for the indigestion. Yeah, and I was actually
Okay.
taking off of the pills for the indigestion now.
Okay. That's really good. That's good.
Glad to hear, Miss
It
Jennifer.
will help you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, thank you for listening.
Okay.
No problem, ma'am. You have a
Thanks
wonderful
for
rest of your
sharing.
Yeah. Next up, again, it's about 2:25, so we're just keeping our time in mind. So we have 3 hands up. So we'll the last question will be Miss Shirley, and then if Stacy has some more time, we can answer another question, but we're just going from there. So next up is Miss Carolyn. Go ahead and hit unmute in the middle, please.
I have a question. I've enjoyed the presentation. You mentioned that chicken breast was very good to eat. It's lean. What about turkey breasts? Is that good to eat?
Oh, yes, yes. I forgot to mention the turkey, right? Yes, the turkey breast is definitely better than the turkey legs and the turkey wings. It has less
Okay.
fat. It's called the white meat. Yeah, that white meat part, that white meat versus dark meat, is definitely healthier.
Okay, and thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh, no problem, Miss Carolyn. You have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, same to you.
Next up is Brenda again. Hey, Brenda.
Hey, Alex, one quick question, Stacy. Under the foods you had to eat, you had listed lean meat, and that's what I wanted to know. What lean meat were you speaking of? I think one of the last lady said that the turkey
Yeah, so the white meat is the white parts of the chicken or the turkey,
okay,
is the lean part, like the breast. But the legs and the legs and the thighs and
and the
the
wings.
wings especially the wings are the fatty part. And also I should add, please remove the chicken skin prior to eating. Do not eat the chicken skin. It's not healthy. That's where that's a lot of the fat is in that chicken skin. So,
Okay.
Remember to remove that as well.
Okay. All right. That was all I needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Miss Pamela in the chat said, "Thank you, Miss Stacy, for your presentation. It was very informative. Thank you for the feedback, Miss Pamela."
All right, thank you.
Next up, and again, the last hand we have up for now is Miss Shirley. Hey, Shirley, how's it going?
Hello, how you doing, Alex? Hello, Miss Stacy. Yes,
Hello,
hi, Miss
hello.
Stacy. How you doing? I enjoyed your presentation about the heart. I just want to ask a question about the blood pressure. You know, when your blood pressure is, what about, I saw the chart that you have about the different levels of the high blood pressure or pressure. And I was wondering, you know, when is your blood pressure low? Is that a bad sign? Or if you're sick, if you have a fever like 99 or 100, when is it a good advice to go to the hospital or the doctors?
Oh, the normal blood pressure is 120/80. I mean,
What?
some people have it a little lower, you know. But if your blood pressure is low, you're going to feel a little weak. Some people naturally have a lower blood pressure just because that's just how they are, and your doctor would know that too. So it wouldn't be a problem if you have a lower blood pressure, but you're normal, you're okay. But once you start to have it really low, then you're normally weak. You're, just not really coherent. And so you probably need to see the doctor about that to find out why your blood pressure is too low.
No. Okay. Because if your do it have to do with when you get older that your pressure may be lower, or if you've been anemic all of your life or majority of your life, is that an indication?
I mean, I know of different people of different ages who have had low blood pressure. Mine used to be low when I was younger, and it got higher as I got older.
Oh, okay. It's the opposite.
And it's a different people.
Oh.
Different people have, because we don't know what's going on. Different things, different medical reasons could be occurring that's causing it. So depending on your individual
your body weight or your
your body makeup, So I was gonna say, if you realize something is different, I believe if something is different going on that never used to happen, I usually go and check it out, and that's my advice. Because if it's not normal, something is wrong. So let's go check it out, find out what's going on, and deal with that matter.
Okay, check with your doctor. Maybe gain weight since the pandemic, and gain a lot of weight though.
Yeah, lots of people have gained weight during that pandemic. We were stuck in the house for so long.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Thanks for your information. I enjoyed the. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Any other questions for Stacy before we end for the day? Any other questions? Please raise your hands.
Can you see my hand?
No, again, Miss Angela, I'm not sure if you're new or not, but I know you have to digitally raise your hand. You hit more and then raise hand. So we can answer Brenda, and then Miss Angela, try to raise your hand digitally. There you go. Yeah. And then we'll end with Miss Angela, okay? So again, Brenda, you have another question?
Yeah, just one other thing. Miss Stacy, do you know anything about this RSV that they're talking about, that they're advertising on TV? They said it's supposed to affect older, senior citizens, I believe 60 and older, and it's contagious, and it's highly contagious. Do you know anything about that? It keeps showing it, and and they want you to take some vaccine. So.
Well, I mean, that's a different topic from what we're doing here, but RSV is a respiratory virus. It's always been around. It just got really worse in recent times. It affects elderly persons a lot more, people with weakened immune systems. It also affects little babies as well. Babies are the ones who used to get RSV a lot until now older people are getting it too. So yeah, so it's going around. I mean, I don't know if it's as bad now as it was maybe a year ago, but it's out there along with the
Yeah.
flu and the COVID. Yeah. So I mean, if it's work with your doctor, get your vaccine if there's a vaccine for it.
Yeah, I heard there is. I'd never heard of it, so I was
It's
wondering.
brand new. I just seen an article just came out like about 12 hours ago. So just consult with your doctor. It's a new, there's a new vaccine for RSV. Again, it used to be in babies, like Stacy said, and now it affects older adults. So just check with your doctor and see if they can suggest it or not.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
No problem, Brenda. And again, our last hand up and last question for today comes from Miss Angela. Hi, Angela. How are you? Good job
Hi.
on your hand.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. I was diagnosed with breast cancer at the beginning of the year, so I'm under treatment with the getting the the chemo, and that has changed my whole body structure. And I have all those other things like high blood pressure, cholesterol. I have AFib. I've lost about 35 pounds in this process. And I was just wondering whether or not, I mean, I take all the medicine for the other stuff before the chemo. I take medicine twice a day for the diuretics that the other young lady was saying. I take one in the morning and one in the evening. So it does run you to the bathroom. But since I've had this chemo, I don't have an appetite. Everything tastes like metal in my mouth. Mm-hmm. So I'm basically forcing myself to eat because of the medication. And I don't want no bleed in my stomach or my kidneys go bad or whatever. And I was just wondering, I'm doing the Propel electrolytes. I'm doing the Ensure. I'm doing, my son makes me shakes with the different things in it, like the vegetables and fruits. And then he also puts in there, where I tell you, your brain goes when you get this stuff. But anyway, he makes me a protein shake every day and I drink that down. But I force myself to eat. And the food that I used to be able to eat, because I used to cook all the time, fresh fruits and vegetables and stuff. And see, my children they don't know how to do none of that. And they don't live here. So I was just wondering whether or not you had any suggestions, because I'm not exercising anymore. I've lost, I do have neuropathy pretty bad in the legs and my hands. And so I went from last year being, I would say, early 60. This year, I feel like I'm 80. So just wondering whether or not there's anything else that I need to be doing, that you think I need to be doing too. Because right now I can't do any exercise. My barely walking is to the bathroom, to the doctor's office, to chemo, and back home.
So are you able to do chair exercises, like to sit in the chair and do some exercises, like with your arms, lift them, they have different, if you search online,
they had me in therapy. They had me in therapy, but all the stuff that they was trying, I couldn't do because I'm weak, so
okay.
a level of 1 to 10, I'm at an 8. When I go into the doctor's office, she asked me that I'm about an 8. And I also have a lot of pain. So I have joint pain from the chemo. That's a side effect. And also have some, diarrhea and still spitting up and stuff like that too that goes along with it. These hiccups and belching also. So I was just wondering, is there anything else that I should be trying to make myself eat?
I mean, like,
I'm sorry. This is.
It's okay, Miss Angela. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. No, the protein shakes sound really good. Like you could get a lot of fruits and vegetables in that that you probably won't be able to eat. Is that bitter as well?
I also
or
have
metallic or whatever.
I have well, children call it thrash in the mouth, and that's from
Oh,
side effect from, doing the antibiotics and the steroids. So I'm also, doing the mouthwash, doing the lozenges, trying to get that, you know. So I really don't eat like fruit, like just biting the apple or just biting a peach or whatever. What he does is he cuts up all that fruit and put it in the blender. And like I said, I can do it that way.
okay, yeah, that's a good thing. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Or if you can have soup, if you could, cut up all those nice vegetables and make a nice vegetable soup, and
And see
maybe put
what
some
what he
peas
has
and
been
beans.
doing once a week. He buys one of those rotisserie chickens and boil it, and then put the vegetables and stuff in it. So once a week, I do have that with the noodles in it, which is probably the unhealthiest thing in there. So it cooks off the bone. He pulls the bone out the soup, and I eat, a couple of bowls of that till I'm tired of it. So
Okay. I mean, it sounds pretty good. My only concern with the rotisserie chicken is that the ones that they make at the store, they're usually so salty. Um, I
well,
don't
that's
know
why he
all of what.
boils it. He boils it and he doesn't put anything
Oh,
else in it. See what I'm saying?
oh,
It's boiled
oh,
till
okay.
all the meat come off the bone, and I don't eat skin at all, so he throws that part away. But yeah. And this is a person who wasn't cooking at all until I got this cancer stuff and I started losing weight and everybody's skin. But anyway, I appreciate your conversation today. Most of it by me being in the medical condition that I am, and been, like I said, a heart patient for a long time with AFib. So I do have a regular heart doctor that I go to, and a regular nutritionist that works with me for the high cholesterol. But since I actually been doing the chemo, all my levels have gone down. So and unfortunately also my white cell count is it's messed up right now. So I have to get blood work done before I get chemo, because if it's a certain level, I can't get the chemo.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, speaking of nutritionists, I mean, it sounds to me like you're doing pretty well with, your son giving you those soup and the shakes and all that. I mean, that's what I would have recommended. If you were not able to eat it, then try drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you could speak with your dietitian, your nutritionist, and see if she has any other suggestions. Because she has all your medical files and everything before her, I suppose.
Right.
And just keep, and you have a wonderful son who's making sure that his mom gets all those nice things to eat.
Well, it's
That's
5 boys
definitely a
and one
blessing.
girl, and all of them take 2 hours out of their schedule a day to come and do whatever I need them to do, and then they can go home to their houses. So
That's
that's a
great.
good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Was it,
best of luck to you, Miss Angela. We were hoping and praying for the best, and you're very resilient for still getting on and learning that information. So you got to give yourself a pat on the back, okay?
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm praying and I'm trying.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So,
Keep
Okay.
praying.
yes.
I am.
Yes. So thank
Keep
you.
praying and follow the doctor's orders.
Yes.
I do. I do.
But you're doing great. You're doing sound. I mean, you sound good. You sound good.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
as you can see, the hair left the first treatment.
But you still look beautiful.
Yeah.
You still look beautiful. So don't worry about that.
Oh, I'm not. I'm the only person that come to chemo that don't wear a wig. I just have a cap on.
That's right.
Baseball cap
yeah.
on.
Well, again, thank you for your question and for your conversation. I know you've inspired folks, and again, we know we see your resilience. So thank you, Miss Angela. We really appreciate
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
No problem. And everyone, let's thank Stacy for coming on, doing such a wonderful presentation. I learned something
thank
new.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Stacy.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thank you so much. That was what our
Stacy.
subject was today. Ladies.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Come back again.
This time we-
Good job, Miss
Oh man,
Stacy.
Thank you,
this is done.
Stacy.
Have a good
Yeah,
night.
it
right,
was
take
very
care.
educational.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So everyone, again, that was such a great presentation. So thank you, Miss Stacy. And we still have our 6 p.m. session today with our movie. So if you'd like to get on for our movie tonight, please make sure you get
6
on.
o'clock.
We'll be starting the Zoom at 5:45. So if you want to watch the movie, please come on and we're gonna have some fun, okay?
Okay.
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 All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you, Miss Stacy.
Thank you.
All right.
Everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.